All right, everybody's here. Let's then call the meeting of July 9th, 2020 to order.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Conlon.
Yes.
Fisher.
Here.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and everybody please rise. There's a flag right over Rob's right shoulder or left shoulder, depends how you're looking, and we'll do a salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silent prayer. Okay. The notice requirement for the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Park Press Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. I got it that one, Vinny, on December 30, 2019. Okay. Anybody, council members, have any report before we go into the consent agenda?
No report.
No report?
I'm good.
Johnny?
I'll report.
Dave, anything coming up?
Just the planning board is meeting on the 27th of July coming up.
Okay. Well, I have nothing for now. So the purpose of the public portions is solely ask questions, understand resolutions that appear on an agenda, not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance, which there are none tonight. All questions not related to an item on the agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. Anybody that's logged in and joining us, you'll be able to ask questions, anything germane to Ocean Township at the end of the meeting. In the meantime, if you have anything as regards to what appears on the agenda here for resolutions, now's the time to state your name and address for the record and speak up. And remember, you'll have 5 minutes at the end of the meeting to say your piece and whatever it is you'd like to talk about Ocean Township. So does anybody have anything that's on the consent agenda, vouchers or resolutions? You hear no one? Someone please offer the minutes for the June 25th, 2020 meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of the meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Conlon.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, we also have resolutions 2111 through 2115. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Conlon.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, tonight we have vouchers in the amount of $6,487,620.68 or 3 cents. I can't read.
3, Mayor.
That's a 3. That's a 3. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Because if we're off by a nickel, Rob wouldn't do it.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Conlon.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Okay, so also for resolutions, we have 2116, authorized Chapter 159 budget amendment for the following. It's for the Community Hope Fund Project Extend School Year Grant. So we amend this from time to time as a 159. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Conlon.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 2117. This is part of our annual road improvement program. It's budgeted every year. We put that in there without any tax increase. But this year, we're authorizing a contract with Espatata Construction, Inc. for the 2019 road improvement program at a cost not to exceed $1,845,740. This is the first time, and I can remember in maybe 14 years that Fernandez wasn't the winning bidder. So I know Batata is a great construction firm. I've seen their work. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Conlon.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. And we're up to 2118, authorize a professional services contract for the period of July 1st, 2020 through June 30, 2021. And these are our following. Martin J. Arbus, the firm of Arbus, Maybrook and Good, LLC, Township Attorney. Megan Ann Bennett, the firm of Gluck, Walworth, LLP, Bond Counsel. And Gregory Blash, PEPP, in the firm of Leon S. Slovakian, Inc., Township Engineer. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
council members Achara,
Yes.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 2119, authorize a renewal of the contract for the Code Red Emergency Notification System on sub at a total cost of $12,239 for 1 year period, July 22, 2020 through July 21, 2021. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
council members Achara,
Yes.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yeah.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. And 2120, authorize a tax collector to issue refunds and/or credits to those taxpayers who receive favorable state tax appeal judgments. Someone please offer. Margie, your dog.
Not my- Mine's sleeping.
Someone please offer the tax collector issue.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
council members Achara,
Yes.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. And 2121, authorize the tax collector to cancel real estate taxes for the following properties who should have been removed from the official tax list. So this will be block 3904, lot 7, the amount of $21,885.94. Block 216, lot 19, the amount of $29,826.33. And block 140, lot 81, the amount of $9,371.16 as an overpayment. That's a township-owned property anyway. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Second, please.
I said I'll second.
council members Achara,
Yes.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and 2122, authorize the achievement of tax sale premiums on certain tax lien certificates. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
council members Achara,
Yes.
Conlon,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to open up public comments to the public. If you have anything, please state your name and address for the record and be mindful of the 5-minute rule so others will have an opportunity. Your time starts now.
Hi, this is Peter Yunkun, 610 Deal Road. I have a question on resolution 20-117 for Batata Construction. Can you all hear me okay?
Sound great.
Is there a scope of work or some detail as to how do we get to the almost 1.9 million?
Yeah, there's a list, a roads program list. Mike can, you can give it to you, or we can even probably put that up online. And what we do, Peter, every year we have so many roads that are evaluated by DPW and our engineer. We try to get to as many as possible. So this is what, that's, most of it goes there. Then also for improvements, capital improvements throughout the town. So usually we have a 2 million plus bond each year for the purpose.
I can have, I can email the entire bid specs to you if you'd like.
Can you
There are
just
quite a
sort of
few,
the major expenses of the 1.9 million? Or is it just spread out all over?
No, it's about $1 million plus is roads themselves, such repaving roads. And then usually 600,000 to 700,000 will go towards any of our capital improvements on buildings, air conditioning, upkeep, anything like that, parks improvements, whatever we don't have a grant for, this would supplement that as well.
I
Okay,
think
so
there
we-
were, I don't remember the number, but I think there were about maybe 12 bids on this that were submitted. I'm not
You
exactly
have to
sure
see
I
the
had
bid. I
looked
think-
at it, but
Peter might be interested in just knowing
This is the
what
lowest bid.
projects. We can certainly let you know the
I
list.
know, but I just wanted to also know that it was the lowest bidder, so.
Okay. But I think
I was
Batata
just
actually,
curious.
well, Batata
Kind
is
of projects
primarily,
we were gonna-
he's a paving contractor, right, Mike?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's all paving, Peter. He's
Correct.
all for road improvements. That whole 1.8.
And historically, it's always around $2 million a year?
Yep.
So pretty routine.
Yes.
Okay, I have another question on 20-118. That's the contract for Mr. Arbus. Is there a contract value? Is that a one-year contract?
Mike?
Yeah,
Yes.
all the contracts for township attorneys are 1 year.
And what is Mr. Arbus's contract value for 2020?
A lot.
It's not based on a contract value. It's based on an hourly rate. Well, there may be a max in there. The hourly rate, which is $100, $180 per hour, which is about, my typical hourly rate is about 4.25 per hour. So just to give you an idea.
So there's not a fee proposal that says, you know, something like we anticipate X dollars for the 12 months?
There's a not to exceed amount.
And what
There's
is-
a not
what
to
is
exceed
that?
amount of 150,000 plus the retainer. So that's the not to exceed amount.
And is that similar to the contract last year?
That's exactly the same, no increase. And
And how long have
probably the year before that.
I was going to ask, how many years have you been serving as our township attorney?
That's a fair question. I'll tell you in 1 second. I have to count it back.
Since high school?
No, it was before high school. I was in 6th grade. Now it's about 15 years since
Congratulations.
2005. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Those were the
Anybody
two
else?
resolution questions on.
Anybody else? No? All right, seeing and hearing no one, we'll make a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn. Second?
Deputy Mayor Napolitano,
Yes.
council members Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. Meeting's been adjourned. We'll see you at our next meeting on July, Ben, what is it?
August 13th is the next public meeting.
Okay, we're gonna try to do an in-person meeting, August 13th. We'll advertise that way ahead of time. We're gonna try to do it in person without the ability to call in. So that'll be
I'm
in
sorry,
person.
I misunderstood. There's no public comment period?
That
We
was
just
it.
were doing it. We
I
just
thought,
got,
I
Oh,
thought that was just for the
Oh.
amendment.
no, that was
I
open.
thought that was resolutions.
Motion to reopen the meeting.
So close.
I need a second.
You didn't get one yet. That's what's funny. Did you have more,
What time
Peter?
does the golf course close? What's the hurry?
Do you have more to talk about? Well, do you have anything else?
I do.
I personally had some
Yeah.
questions.
I'm sorry, somebody else
Yeah,
said
I had-
something?
Yes, Dennis Howell. I
Oh,
thought that
okay,
was just the business portion of the meeting.
No,
I've
that
never
was,
signed into anything
Just
else.
Sorry,
Okay.
Dennis, to cut you off.
folks, we'll reopen the meeting, 5 minutes each. Time starts now. Who would like to be heard first?
Okay, I'll go first. Dennis Howlett, 1638 Holbrook Street. And I just have a couple questions about some things that happened in the last meeting. And one for Deputy Mayor Napolitani. he mentioned in the last meeting that he had taken a walk on the property at the corner of Deal Road before the COVID crisis happened. And I was curious, was that something that he did of his own volition, just out of curiosity to see what the status of the land was? And when did this happen?
You're asking me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I took a walk on the property to see, you know, what was on the property, be it trees and, you know, whatever else was on there. They had a, what was it, an archaeologist that was on there that did a dig.
Uh-huh.
And, an old, I guess, base of a house out there that was marked off. And eventually there's going to be a report on that as well. So yeah, before COVID, I did that walk.
Was that a long time ago, or
Was what, a long time ago?
the walk you took?
It was right before the COVID hit.
Oh, so it was recently. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
Probably the week before COVID.
Okay, you made a comment that when you were out there, you didn't see a real tree. And I don't understand what a real tree is. What did you mean by that?
A lot of real trees, very few, if any.
Okay,
What does he call
Uh,
it?
So I will stand corrected if I said I didn't see any. I didn't see many.
okay. So this was an area that wasn't treed. Is that what you're saying? This was an open
Well,
area?
No, I mean, there's a path through there, and the majority of what I saw did not look like real trees. Vines, weeds that grew.
Also,
Lots.
was this part of, since I haven't been on the property, is this part of the field that went back to nature at one time? Now these are all invasive species trees? That's where you looked? Is that where it was?
Yeah, I took a ride in and took a walk through.
Okay. Now, if you had seen a real tree, would it have changed your opinion of what's going on the property?
If I had seen I didn't say I didn't see a real tree. I just said I stand corrected on what I said. If I said I didn't see any.
Okay. If you saw what you consider real trees, if there were tree specimens that were worth saving, would that have changed your opinion about the property?
My opinion on what? I never gave an opinion on the property.
Well, you gave this in response to people where they were complaining about the development on the property. And you were giving your opinion that you didn't think, I got the impression that you didn't think that anything on the property was worth saving. So that's why I'm asking the question.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say that, Mr. Howlett.
I know you didn't say that, but why would you say you went in there and you took a walk on the property and you didn't see a real tree? And you think this has gone on long enough, and I got the impression that because you didn't see real trees, that you thought the property wasn't valuable enough to save. And I know that the tree specialist for Paramount found a number of trees that were worth saving. And I know that there are a lot of trees there that are older trees. And I agree, most of the trees on there are just basically crap. And the trees, the property, the wooded area is in bad shape. And the irony of this is that the Paramount, the buyer, is really benefiting from the fact that the prior owners didn't maintain the property. So it makes it much easier to say, well, who cares? I mean, the forest is in terrible shape. It is. But even a bad tree, even a crappy tree, maintains water and can be worth saving. It does give some good benefit. And I know the tree expert for Paramount, even though he said most of the trees in there were bad, and he's right. A lot of them are the invasive species like trees of heaven. He even pointed out one of those that was worth saving, which shocked me because I know he hates those kind of trees. And I know that one of the ideas about the value of this piece of property had been diminished because of the state of the forest there. And I know the current buyer was saying at one time that all the trees there were dead, but it wasn't true because they were deciduous trees, and he looked at it during the winter. But I just got the impression that part of the reason why this project is worth going through is because, in your opinion, you're certainly entitled to your opinion, that there weren't real trees on the property.
I believe that the developer also put up a tree bond, and if he
they did.
does lose this case,
Right.
that area gets replanted with new trees.
I understand, and it's a good thing. I read that bond. It's a good idea.
Part of my response to making the comment that enough is enough at this point, but this has been going on for years.
I know.
Not to mention all the time that led up to the approval from the planning board, that he dealt with plans that were much bigger than what they are right now, that was approved by the planning board.
I'm not arguing that at all. I know that's true.
So my opinion is that we have sat and it's been battled over and over and over again. So at this point, we move forward. I mean, that's what we have to do.
I understand that.
You know, I think we have to understand that we have a planning board in town. The planning board's an autonomous body. They make a determination. The council doesn't necessarily second guess that.
So I'm sorry.
This appeared before the planning board, this appeared before the planning board for 13 hearings. And they made a determination.
I understand it. I don't know who's speaking right now. Who's speaking?
That was Marty Arbus.
Oh, okay. Okay. I understand that.
So, and I actually think what John said at the last meeting.
I wasn't talking about that. I was trying to understand Mr. Napolitani's rationale for bringing that point up. And I think one of the reasons that there are a number of people who are in favor of this happening is because they have the opinion that there was nothing worthwhile tree-wise to save on the property, and I would dispute that. That's the only thing I was bringing up.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate that. Anything else, Dennis?
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Achara. Mr. Achara noted in the last meeting, he was distancing himself from the decisions that were made by the planning board, and I understand and appreciate that. And he had recused himself from the planning board, and I was curious whether I read another thing I read because I don't have a life, the thing about ethics and conflicts of interest about planning board members. And when you recused yourself, was that of your own volition, or were you asked to recuse yourself?
It was due to a conflict of interest, a potential business that is a customer of mine during my daytime job might become a business there. So it was a mutual decision that I shouldn't be involved in the discussions.
Okay, I understand that. That makes sense. That's the only thing I could find. I found that the regulations about conflicts of interest. Do you happen to know if there are regulations about conflict of interest for expert testimony, or is this specific only to planning board members?
So I'm going to pass
That wouldn't be a question for Mr. Achara. That would be a question for our attorney. And I don't know, you go ahead, Dennis. You want to answer it, Marty? That's
Well, look, I mean, there's no like hard and fast rules necessarily as to what constitutes a conflict. Certainly, if you have a relationship with an applicant, you have a relationship, you don't then sit on the board. It's a lot different for professionals who oftentimes have relationships with various parties that are going before boards and they testify all the time. Same thing with attorneys. So it's a little different.
Okay, so there's no rules about that. It's just, it has to kind of comes along with the consequence of being a professional. You must act in a professional manner, and if you have a conflict, you declare it. Is that sort of the?
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
Great. Thank you very much. Sorry to drag the meeting out.
No problem. Anybody else?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll drag it a little further. David Weiner, Mayor, Council. First from Mr. Napolitani, did you have legal dispensation to walk the property?
Legal dispensation? No.
Since it says no trespassing, a big sign right there, right?
Dave, what happened was during their
Not accusing
archaeological.
anybody, I'm just trying to understand.
No, let me explain something, David. They were doing their archaeological dig. They have a site there they had to dig up, and they discovered an original foundation that preceded the old Woolley estate. And so they were interested in sharing that with the township, and they invited any council members, hey, you should check this out, while the site's open, go take a look. And so we all individually, whoever wanted to, took a walk there. And I think that's why John was on the property.
Fair enough. Second question to council. So it's your opinion, is it this is a question, interrogatory, that a professional that's testifying before, let's say, the planning board, an apparently or allegedly autonomous body, that they are incapable of having a conflict of interest based upon their other business interests when they testify? There is no such thing? You understand my question?
Marty?
I don't think that's what I said. I think there are conflicts of interest. People have to act in a professional manner, so that if I'm the planning board attorney and the person that comes up who is the applicant before the planning board, and I had this at a time when I was the planning board attorney, an applicant came in who was my client. I recused myself. If you're a engineer or a planner and the applicant comes in who is your active client that you're representing on other matters, you recuse yourself. But somebody raised issues because an engineer does work for an attorney on other matters. That would not be considered a conflict in my mind.
And you're saying that's not memorialized. It's left to the goodwill of the individuals involved in the professionalism. It's not statutorily.
Well, I'm not saying it's not memorialized statutorily, but there's case law where it's indicated when you have a conflict as a professional.
Thank you. And my last comment is, Mayor, I saw the interview you did with your mom. It was adorable. She's adorable. Not you, your mother.
That's true.
His mother is adorable.
She is. Great interview. Learned a lot about the town.
Yeah.
You just don't want to gain weight in front of her. That's all.
Too late for that. COVID's been here.
Well, she'll let you know.
Anybody else?
Yes, Mayor, I have a couple questions. It's Jackie Wenzel. Vincent, I called Vincent early today to ask if all the DEP and DOT permits have been satisfied, or are all the permits approved at this time? And if not, what ones are we waiting for?
Are you asking me, Vinny, or Marty?
I believe.
I called Vinny this morning and he was going to get back to me, but I guess he got busy. On the permits, Vinny, the DEP permits.
All I stated was that we didn't have anything filed in the clerk's office, that I would look, and I believe there was, I think Mr. Harbers has some information.
Yeah, I think Ron Kirk sent us 3 different DEP permits that have been issued. One was issued on March 8th of 19, a second one on this, February 7th of 20, and then a third one for a modification on February 13th of 2020. I don't see a permit from or at least I haven't been shown a permit from DOT.
But are all the DEP permits satisfied at this time? What were the 3 that are approved?
To be honest with you, I looked at them. They're very detailed. Certainly you can go review them. There were 3 separate permits that were issued. As far as I understand it, those are all the permits. But is that definitively true? No, because it's not something that I would generally review. That's reviewed by Mr. Kirk. You can give him a call and find out from him whether there is any further permits that they anticipate from DEP. Right now, there are 3 that were issued.
I just have had a difficult time getting responses from Mr. Kirk. I'm assuming it was because of COVID and he's not maybe in his regular office hours, but he hasn't really responded in terms of our questions, because other outside groups, environmental groups, have asked these questions because they want to, get more involved, mainly because environmental issues have been such a hot topic, particularly at this time. And I haven't been able to answer them. I don't know if all the DEP permits are in. And in terms of the DOT permit, the last time there was confusion, because I hadn't seen the most recent drawing. I didn't realize that there were so many exits from the site onto Deal Road. I knew there was an urban jug handle. I knew there was a Logan Road exit, so I assumed that was the one. So I know now there are more. Can we, for the next town council meeting, can you show us what the site looks like, how many exits are on Deal Road, and what the current site looks like, what's been improved? Can you like put it up here on the screen so
I
we
believe
can?
the plan, you were there, Jackie, for 13 hearings. I believe the plan that has always shown, once they did the urban jug handle, it showed the urban jug handle, which is east of Logan Road, and where you can only make a turn going east out of there. And then there's the other exit out onto Deal Road, which goes you can either go left, which would be, I'm sorry, let me change that. The urban jug handle, you go west onto Deal Road towards Wayside. From the other exit, which is further to the east and which lines up with Logan Road, you can either go to the east, make a left turn, you can go west, or you can go straight ahead onto Logan. So those are the two exits on Deal Road. And frankly, as far as I know, while the location of the urban jug handle was changed slightly, that's always been the case.
So there's only 2 exits from the site going to Deal Road. Is
I
that correct?
believe so. Correct, Mayor?
Yeah.
I believe that's correct.
And you can
So-
absolutely unequivocally make a left turn going east from that site, so you do not have to go down Logan Road from that
No,
development.
I understand that. I understood the urban
I know
jug
you made a
handle.
lot of noise about it last time. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
noise.
No, well, I asked if you could clear it up for me, and no one at that time was able to.
No,
But
you
I'm-
did on here, but then you went on to do a big post about it. And, so all
Right.
your followers aren't on here. They don't see this discourse back and forth. They just see that what you write and they believe it as the gospel according to Jackie.
Well, it
And,
wasn't
you know-
cleared up, Mayor, that's all.
Hopefully you cleared it up. Thank you.
But still, people are not clear on what the site looks like. So I guess my question is,
Okay.
can we, at the next council meeting, and some things, because the trees had started to come down, people kept thinking, oh, it's not a done deal, and now the reality has hit for them. So I'm getting a lot of phone calls because my phone number is on the Save 32 Acres website. So
I guess we can see what the last iteration from the planning board, because that's what everybody saw last, and that can be posted. But be mindful, like you said, DEP approvals are all in. There are no outstanding DEP permits needed. DOT is awaiting, final design, so they may tweak that a little bit, so we can put it up, but it may not be the final plan. I think that may be the issue Marty's probably a little reluctant to put it up for. Is that it, Marty? I mean, I don't mind showing you what we have.
Well, no, I mean,
that means a
to
lot
be
of people
honest
are
with you,
asking,
I think,
and I don't have any drawings to share with them.
Not one's called me yet, but okay. But we can
Well-
do it.
and I think that the plan that is available if you want to go to the planning department, but I think the plan is the same plan that was marked at the end of the hearings before the planning board, and you were at every one of those hearings.
I'm not
And there
talking
were
about
13
me.
of
I'm talking about the people that have called me asking me for a drawing to send to them. What does it look like? I don't have one. So I would invite them to come to the next town council meeting online or in person, whatever it will be. And so people that are interested can look at the site. Not everyone went to the high school meetings. So
But
they're asking.
Jackie, listen, we could probably, I don't know about putting it up on this meeting because it's a virtual meeting. We're probably gonna have a live meeting next time. Maybe something will be available. But why don't you go down and just take a picture of it and post it? I mean, then your people will see it.
It's not my people,
Yeah,
they're the
it's in
people,
town.
the residents. They look up Save 32 Acres because we have signs all over town and they're asking questions I would like to answer for them. So I'm asking here in this public forum, can you present to the people?
I said
what the
yes.
site looks like?
What's the next
Okay.
question? Yeah, what's the next question?
Has there been a determination of how many trees are healthy that are coming down that
That
the
was, I think,
developer will-
vetted out at the planning board meeting. I don't have the number here. And you're asking us
That's
something 8 months later, so none of us remember that. But it was all
No, but
vetted out at the planning board meeting. They gave an exact number.
as to what
Nothing's
the
changed.
developer is going to be paying for. in
Not
terms
only
of the-
that, Jackie,
Oh, what he's paying for?
we already discussed this at another council meeting where you told us that they're only paying X amount of trees. And I gave you the number probably 2 council meetings or 3 council meetings ago. And now we're going back to the same question. We had this discussion. And you asked me, and I
No,
ended up looking it
never
up. and-
finalized. It was
No, it
never
was,
finalized,
but
Marty.
okay.
Well, you
It
just
really
didn't
was,
say it.
but-
now.
Well,
It
I don't
was.
know it now. I knew it when you asked and I looked it up. I don't know what's sitting here right now.
Well, I've been very
But I
focused
remember,
on the tree.
I remember you telling
My
me,
question
oh, I
was-
didn't realize it was that much. That's not so bad.
Never gave the amounts, the final amount, because he had said that every tree except 38 were dead, dying of disease. And you said, no, the number's more than that. You never quantified what that
I
number
gave
was.
you an actual number. I gave you, okay.
Well, then if you can give it to the, let us know. Like, we should just have a regroup meeting so everyone knows, because people, now that they're seeing the trucks in there, are starting to go, oh my God, this is really
Well,
happening.
yeah,
What's going on?
I'm sure Ron Kirk has that number. Again, I'm sure number, and I'm sure,
Well,
you
it
know,
was
Jackie,
just,
it's the same number that was testified to also at those hearings, but I
Well,
will,
when he
I will
testified,
try
he
to find what the
he didn't
number
give
is.
a straight answer at the planning board. He said roughly around 30. All I would say is most of it is dead, dying, and disease, and about 38 trees are worth saving. Well,
You keep-
that's clearly not correct. That's clearly not correct. So we don't know. And you said it was more than
No,
that,
no,
but you didn't.
there might have been 38.
We're just curious because I know there was a
I
tie-up
think there,
when,
maybe we're talking about,
I can't hear you, Marty. Are you talking?
okay. Yeah, well,
I
I was
can't-
trying to. There may be 2 different questions. There may be how many trees are being kept up, and another question may be how much are they paying for trees they're taking down? And there's a financial contribution, so trees can be replanted, whether there or elsewhere. I think that was, and maybe there was a number that was substantial. And I don't remember the number sitting here right now, but I gave you the number and you said, oh, I didn't realize it was that much. But I will try to find again what that number is. Unfortunately, as you get older, my memory's not that great.
Okay.
Your rate just went down to 150 an hour.
Thank you.
I also wanted to know, I had read that there's going to be improvements to Deal Road. Can anyone speak on that? What's happening on Deal Road in terms of road improvements?
Yeah, that's been covered
You mean
over
by
and over
the
and over and over at the planning board meeting. Yes, they're widening the road, adding another lane. They're going to do the urban jog. They're going to make, there's numerous improvements. Those plans are available at Ron Kirk's office. We're not going to redo the planning board hearing though, Jackie.
No,
You need to go down there and check it
I
out.
had invited a lot of people that had questions to come to the meeting, and I said I would ask their
Okay.
questions. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Please be more respectful to me.
Many improvements, many improvements.
So when you're talking about the improvements, we're just talking about Logan Road West, like from Logan Road West, or are we talking
Yes.
about the
No,
highway to Whale Pond?
we're talking about west, and then there'll probably be some that, I don't think they're going to make any on the highway that I know of, but it's all Deal Road from Logan Road to the highway. That was the crux of the improvements. I just want to reiterate something though, Jackie, just so, let's see, Walter O'Neill's down there busy writing. He's with the Link newspaper. He also lives in Ocean, so he's welcome here. But well more than 38 trees are being saved. Remember, it's about 8 acres of buffering in that project. Okay, so that accounts for any X amount of trees per acre. So it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trees are being saved. I thought we should enter that on the record. Walt, write that down.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's
Go ahead,
good.
Jackie.
That's good. That's very good news. So I'm sorry, I'm not just speaking for myself, as I've mentioned before. That same person who was worried about having a fence, and you said that it wasn't required to have a fence, she's still worried about that spot because there's a large pile now, like it created a mountain of tree trunks and branches, and she's worried about her son and his friends climbing that mountain and someone having a log roll on top of them. She's very concerned about that site for safety reasons. So is there anything you can tell her in terms of safe? Are they going to take those, all that debris away? Because nothing is fenced off.
Yes.
Anyone can walk in there and one of those trees could roll on someone. And
Yes, absolutely, they take it away periodically when it gets too high. A lot of times when they excavate, they wait for freehold soil to take a look at it, because sometimes they want to repurpose the soil if it's usable. Secondly, yeah, we always jumped on those piles when we were kids. We loved it. A lot of fun.
Right. So she's worried because it's pretty high in there and big trees in there. So,
A lot of fun.
so you think that'll be cleared away this week?
Me and my 7 brothers made it on all those piles. I don't know.
Okay.
But yes, they're gonna absolutely get to the pile. All right, that's not Margie's dog, that's mine. Come on, Artie, get over here.
Just a question that was asked to Mr. Arbus earlier. I just want to qualify. The planning board, every member of the planning board, they're all appointed by you, correct, Mayor?
Yes.
Is there any other way to get on?
I'm distracted by your orange cup. I'm sorry, what was the question?
So everyone who sits on the planning board is appointed by you?
Not by me personally, it's an appointment by the council.
So you're not the sole person who appoints them?
No, we throw names in the pile. Hey, Rob has somebody he knows would be a good contributor. Johnny might know somebody, Dave, Margie, and we take those names into consideration. And if they're in our talent bank, then we submit them. And as folks move up or move off the boards, we move people up that are interested in serving their community for nothing.
But so with the council, I mean, it's just like a check and balance thing. People are asking because if the council approved this development, which we know they did, not everyone who's sitting on the council today, but it was a combination of a past council. And they're responsible for the planning board, then doesn't it make sense that the planning board is, if they want to keep their position on the planning board, are going to weigh in more or less what the council has approved because they trust you?
Now, here's the thing. I saw Peter Falvo, who was Jen Krimko's predecessor at planning board hearings for years. The guy was a pro, a real ace. And I saw him go 0 for 4 one night. 0 for 4 at the planning board of our appointees. So no, they're not trying to please the mayor and council. These are good upstanding citizens of Ocean Township, and they go in there and do their due diligence, and they take that information and they weigh the detriment versus the benefit. Always, that's really the crux of the planning board hearing. Yahweh, does the benefit outweigh the detriment? And that's what they make their decisions on, not on who appointed them. I assure you, we're almost insulting the integrity of these folks to suggest that what you're saying. So none of these people are going to truckle to us because we appointed them. They have a mind of their own. They're all good, smart, intelligent people. They have a vested interest in town, and we appoint them because of that value there alone.
Is John Borelli still on the planning board?
He is. Yeah, John is.
Is he still the chairman? Is Borelli still the chairman?
He's the, he's chairman now. He was going as assistant chairman because Warren Good was coming back, but John's still, yes, he's still there as the chairman.
Oh, he was just sitting in for someone else?
No, he wanted to step down as chairman, but the other person, Warren Good, hadn't come back 100% yet. So John's still there, and he's acting as chairman as long as he wants to be.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks for your
You're
time.
welcome.
I have 2 questions, Mayor. Off of that,
Yes.
first for council, just procedurally, each of these public meetings are de novo, correct? So therefore, if a citizen wants to say something or ask a question about something that has gone down before, either at a council meeting or a planning board meeting, they're not precluded from doing so. Isn't that correct?
Correct, Dave.
Okay, because I've heard
Who's talking now?
David
Who's
Weiner.
talking?
David Weiner.
I'm sorry, okay.
So what'd you hear, Dave? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Well, I heard the
I'm not sure
criticism
what,
of Jackie
I'm not sure what you
for
mean.
being repetitive and for issues that have occurred at prior planning board meetings. Someone said you've been to 13, you should know that. There's no, she's absolutely, unless I've seen you guys have the patience of a saint with one gentleman who had some type of housing issue with people who weren't supposed to be living in his house. So I think that same kind of patience and also respect should be afforded everyone at these meetings. Secondly, and more importantly, Mayor, the decision to hold the meeting in person in August, was that done with the counsel of a physician? I mean, almost 7 years old. I don't feel like going, no offense, I like hanging with you, but I don't feel like going to a meeting in person at this
Right.
point in time. And we got a doctor sitting right there.
Yeah, speaking as a physician, I actually advocated for holding this one not in person, which we originally were going to have, given the fact that the rate of transmissibility is increasing in New Jersey. So we'll see what happens in August. I mean, hopefully it's better. If it's not, then we'll possibly will reconsider.
Especially
go
with
with
this
the
new,
advice of
this
our
new focus
doctor.
on vaporization, doctor.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
New focus on vaporizing of the droplets.
Aerosolization of it.
Aerosol, I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, of course you're right. You're a doctor.
The,
Aerosolizing.
I missed the question though. It's
Well, the point is that aren't there new studies indicating that it could be aerosol into the air, whatever the term is, and they're much finer droplets that hang longer in the air. So with that type of information coming out daily, I just would ask that you be extremely cautious about moving too quickly to hold a public meeting in person.
I agree. I think we're hopeful we could have it in August, but that may not be the case.
I'm hopeful my hair will grow back, but I don't think that's going to happen either.
I echo both of those, what Margie and what Dave said.
Thank you.
I have a question
Anybody else?
for Mike. It's a question I think I asked last month about the progress of the RFP for the master plan. I think you said you were sort of kicking it back to September or something. Is that still the timeline?
We haven't sat down yet. The money being appropriated in the bond ordinance from the last meeting that was passed, it's still in about its 20-day window. Once that's up in the next couple of weeks, we'll move forward with going with the master plan.
And do you draft the RFP and establish the scope of work for that and determine the bidders?
It's actually done. It's a planning board project. They're the ones that actually draft it. But I can, if they ask me for help, absolutely, I can help.
And do they sort of do that on their own and share it with you? It comes back to you so that then you issue the RFP? I'm just kind of curious on the procedure. The planning board determined that it would like to have a review, or let's say a 10-year review of the master plan. And then who identifies who the bidders would be? Like, I know obviously it would be the same, folks that have been around before, but are there going to be like some new, folks being also invited to bid?
Ultimately, it's the determination. I think that's what Mike was saying. It's the planning board that does the master plan. They determine who's going to do the master plan, and I think the council authorizes payment, but ultimately the actual plan is done by the planning board. They're the ones who are deemed to have the expertise.
How would a resident get some sort of input into that, or get some knowledge of that? Like, do I have to reach out to Mr. Kirk and say, gee, I'm sure you're going to go and ask the people who did the plan last time to bid on it? Are you going to ask anybody else? Is that a question for Kirk, for Mr. Kirk?
Well, when something is bid, you
Well,
actually.
It would be a question for Mr. Kirk, but
yeah, so for example, I just feel like, the people that have been on, doing that for a number of years are the same people. And I understand that they have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. You're happy with them. But if I was wondering, how many other people are there anybody new who we could reach out to? Like, how do we influence that or get some insight into that?
Well, when we're going to do a master plan, there'll be a meeting of the planning board, and at that planning board meeting, you can have input in terms of who's going to do the master plan and raise your issues at the planning board meeting.
So I would have to get Okay, so I'd have to know about the agenda of the next planning board meeting. It would be on the agenda that we're gonna talk about going out with an RFP in September. Would that happen
Yeah,
in the August?
I'm not sure if in the past they've always done an RFP or if they've just asked the township planner, who you've mentioned, to do a review of the master plan. But obviously, if they're going to get someone new, it'll be done a different way.
So it's really not Mike's role, it's really at the discretion of the planning board.
The planning board is in charge of the master plan. They're the experts on planning and zoning.
And Mr. Kirk is really the right person to approach?
He certainly would be probably the proper person.
Okay.
Is it true that now going forward, the new master plan will have to adopt to our governor's new energy plan? Is that going to be a consideration in all Monmouth County, or I guess all of New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, all new master plans for zoning and development? Do they have to follow governor's new energy plan?
I have no idea. You'll have to ask the planning board and their attorney to ask them what if that has to be incorporated into the master plan. I don't know.
Okay.
I have another question about township property. I think we talked about it before, that the township owns property. One of those properties is the school on Logan Road. And I believe I saw maybe last month on the agenda, some money being spent for abatement. Is there some planned construction there that you needed to have abatement done for?
There was actually mold in the building that had to be abated. So that's what was being done right now. It's scheduled to be completed by Monday.
And that was what, about $45,000, I recall?
I don't remember the exact amount, but that sounds about it.
But it was for mold. It wasn't for any other kind of hazardous material.
No, it was mold abatement.
And is that just sort of a preventative maintenance thing, or do we have any plans for any construction at that property?
There's no other than just a quick cleanup after the mold remediation. Then we don't plan on building anything in there.
We have people who are interested in the building. We get inquiries all the time as far as tenants, Peter. And so before we can even have a tenant in there, these things need to be taken care of anyway. So that's where we're at.
So the township acquired that property. It has some kind of mold issue. Is there some sort of problem with the air conditioning and moisture?
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, it's an old building. And yes, I'm sure the air conditioning and heating systems probably needs updating as well. Just it hasn't been in use. So people aren't in and out, ventilating it, opening windows, opening doors, and that will breed mold. Just like the old science class in 7th grade in the Petri dish where we cultured mold experiments. So same thing.
Is there any kind of comprehensive list of like owned township property? Like some of it I know are like little triangles that you sell off to adjacent owners, but how do we get sort of insight into how much township owned like buildings and properties there are? We can
put together a list for you, and then also have our tax assessors put together the owned vacant lands, which is about 873 acres that the township actually owns. And they're all from 60-foot lots, 40-foot lots to 11-acre pieces and right on and so forth. So we can put that list together. I think I had one put together a while ago. I actually have a heat map of the owned properties in Ocean in my office.
Is there any activity on the Cindy Lane property? I know that came up. That's sort of township owned. I think it was like 17 some acres.
Yeah, we still have that piece. We're just having remediation done there as well. And I think that's on for discussion shortly, Mike. So any update on it, Mike?
No, I actually reached out to them today. They didn't get back to me. Right before the whole COVID hit, they were going for DEP permits because they had to redo the wetlands delineation. It was actually much larger than they thought. So they had to reapply to DEP to get that redrawn.
So like the Cindy Lane property, for example, would probably be something that the township is looking to put up for sale?
Well, no, we have an obligation there already to meet our RDP, Realistic Development Potential for Arcoa, which we recently settled. And that was part of the plan, was to have some homes there. Now, the footprint's just been shrunk, as Mike had alluded to, due to the wetlands and
So that's an example that would be a
it's still
township.
viable. We may not get all of them there. Well, that would be a developer will build those units there, but be obligated to put the other 43 remaining units at that site.
So is there like a sale to the developer, or does it remain like you have the land?
We would put that out we would put it out as an RFP for sale, absolutely. And then with the, all those parameters that it must meet this, might have this many affordable units, so on and so forth. And so whoever is interested can certainly bid on it, and then we're all satisfied with our RDP, and then they'll have their piece of property.
Okay.
The land was, there were townhomes on there in the late 89, 90, and it burned down. That was the Ocean Glades property. David Weiner may remember.
Weiner.
But that way back in the day.
Weiner, Your Honor.
Weiner, sorry, Dave.
That's all right. It's
Different people.
lifelong. It's okay.
Yeah, but David Weiner might know. At any rate, but it was way back, and so the land's cleared. It's just a matter of getting the delineation of the wetlands area.
Is the entire, since you brought me up, is the entire piece subject to COLA?
Yes.
Well, everything there has got to be low income.
Yes.
Don't you know
No,
that-
no, a percentage, right?
Usually it's about 20%.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm sorry, David, not 100%, but whoever develops here, that's a designated COA site for our settlement, so they have to meet the requirements. So 43 of whatever they build would have to be the affordable units.
43%,
Or-
33,
No,
43.
it's 43 units is what our obligation is, or 20% of what they build.
That's what I thought, the 20%. Okay. Thanks.
I was a big fan of your budget director, Stephen. Remember when he presented the budget? Was that in February?
A smart guy.
Does he do like any kind of like sort of comparison for you, like actual to his budget baseline? Like, how's the budget doing with everything going on with COVID?
Yeah, he's very good at that. He gives you projections of 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years out on budgets. And here's the thing, the way he budgets, crafts his budget, we are prepared for just this event. In other words, so he'll overestimate perhaps, our delinquent tax collection. And so we'll take in a little bit more just to be safe. Came in handy this time. The guy looks like a genius right about now because we're about zeroed out there, which was perfect. So we're not dipping into our pocket, our reserve, or our surplus because of the way Steve Gallagher crafts our budget.
Can we get him back on like a quarterly basis just to sort of give us an
He has a
update?
pretty good protege in the wings, I'll say that.
Like how's the revenues doing with the town versus expenses? Like with everything.
No, we're down, no doubt, right, Mike? Easily down. I mean, we lost the whole recreation season.
Yeah. Yeah. As of the end of the last quarter, we were down roughly 200,000 in our tax collections, but it's well within the reserve that we keep.
Anticipating this goes on, I'm sorry. Are you talking at all or planning at all regarding the possibility of furloughs or layoffs? I mean, in light of what the governor's talking about in terms of the state's budgetary problems and this U.S. Senate's refusal under the turtle to allow any monies to the state and local governments at this point. Are we, Moody's, we're cool, everything? We're not worried about ratings or cost to borrow money, anything like that? I mean, it seems to me, as Doctor would know, we don't know when this thing's going to end, if it'll ever end, frankly.
As of roughly about a week or two after we went into the lockdown, I instructed all of my department heads to come up with contingency plans, to come up with anything in case we needed to implement them. So we're ready in case we have to. Fortunately, financially, we've been in really good shape as of right now. If this keeps going on like this, you know, it's possible we could have to implement something like that.
As a labor
What's going to happen with the schools and their opening and their budget? Are going to be a lot more increased expenses for like PPE?
Well, thankfully, in regards to PPE, and the county was actually awarded about, I think it was $108 million for any expenses related to the COVID issue. And so all of the PPE purchases that we've had, we actually had the first round of reimbursements that was on June 15th, and we just got the check the end of last week for $23,000 from them. And there's going to be at least 2 more payments over the next couple of months for any other purchases that we have.
So there's really no terrible negative impacts on your budget from when Steve presented it.
At this point, no, but it could change.
Well, I'd love to see him again. He was a really nice guy to see at that February meeting. Very, very interesting.
Anybody else have anything? Thank you, Peter. No? Okay, at this time, who wants to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
council members Achara,
They said that they're not.
Yes.
Tomlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, meeting adjourned. Thank you all for joining us, and I guess we'll keep you updated on the next meeting as per Dr. Donlan's orders. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.